Arlen Tov watched his captain get his butt kicked. The captain was a human. Rex Razor Maddox was a large specimen, just over 2 meters and roughly 90 kilograms. He had dark hair, glittering gray eyes, and a square jaw. Arlen supposed the man was handsome by human standards, but he'd always found smooth skin and fur to be mildly repulsive. Also, he had no tail, the poor man. The captain stood in a field of dirt. Beyond the dirt was a plain full of red grass. No cities or buildings could be seen, but there were 3 spaceships. One belonged to Maddox. 3 groups watched the fight. Arlen and the rest of the captain's crew were in the middle. The other 2 groups belonged to species at war. The human was shirtless and unarmed, as were his attackers. The captain was up against 4 Jonva warriors. The warriors were smooth-skinned bipeds like the human, but they had no hair except for their eyebrows. Their skin was bone white, and they were covered in swirling red tattoos. Their teeth were sharp, and their eyes were yellow with slitted pupils. Not much different from Arlen's eyes, really. Captain Maddox caught a meaty fist and twisted, flipping one of the Jonva warriors over his shoulder. The move cost him. A booted foot took him in the side, nearly knocking him over. Another Jonva went for a low tackle at the same time. The captain tumbled, but managed to roll back. He planted a foot in his opponent's sternum as he completed the roll, launching the attacker and coming back to his feet. 2 more Jonva punched him in the face simultaneously.
"He's doing pretty good,"
Max Dalton remarked. Max Dalton was the other human on Arlen's crew. He was a large specimen, a head taller than the captain. His hair and eyes were dark, and his arms were bigger than Arlen's legs. His voice was a rumbling basso. "He cannot win," Arlen was certain. Arlen himself was Taniwa. His species had evolved from reptiles. His skin was leathery and tough. His snout was full of sharp teeth, and his fingers and toes had sharp claws. His tail was long and sinuous. He wore the black wrappings of an outcast. The captain said it made him look like a ninja lizard.
Don't count him out yet.
Lieutenant Sira Vin disagreed. Sira Vin was a Xana. She looked very similar to humans, except her eyes glowed. The eyes were green. Her skin was pale blue. Her hair was purple. She wore a red bikini and a utility belt. Xana absorbed light through their skin for photosynthesis. They preferred to wear as little as possible. Arlen suspected she'd be naked if the captain allowed it.
Get him, Rex.
"He cannot win," Arlen repeated. Maddox was an expert combatant. Tov was certain his captain could defeat any of the Jonva one-on-one. 4-on-1 was another matter. Fighting multiple opponents was very hard, much harder than Holovision would have you believe. The Jonva warriors were strong and skilled. Worse, they were coordinated. In a true battle, Captain Maddox would compensate with overwhelming violence. He would break bones and go for quick kills, reducing the enemy numbers as quickly as he could. It was the proper way to fight. It was not something he could do now. This fight was an exhibition, a demonstration of the man's honor and warrior spirit. Maddox was not allowed to use disabling moves. Intentional injuries were forbidden.
"I've got 20 quids that says he can,"
Dalton wagered. Arlen smiled to himself. Foolish human. "I accept." Maddox retaliated as he skipped backwards. The 2 Jonva dodged his strikes. The other 2 came in from the sides. Maddox tanked more punches as he dodged to the left, clasping his hands over the back of one warrior's neck and pulling him in. The captain spun the warrior in front of himself, using his opponent's body to block the advance of the other 3. Maddox rammed his knee up into the captured Jonva's side. The other 3 adapted quickly. One continued trying to punch Maddox, the other 2 ran to get behind him. The captain shoved his captured warrior and spun, slamming an elbow into the Jonva on the right. It was a solid strike to the jaw. Maddox followed it up with an uppercut that dropped the warrior. The closest remaining Jonva went for a grapple. Captain Maddox hooked an arm under the warrior's armpit and executed a hip throw. He tucked his elbow over his head to block an axe kick, then spun again and caught a flanking Jonva with a roundhouse kick to the jaw. The warrior went down. The warrior Maddox had thrown charged in from behind, diving for a leg tackle. The other Jonva unleashed a flurry of swift kicks. Maddox took 2 hits in exchange for catching the tackler with a flying knee. The remaining warrior crashed into him, taking him to the ground. They rolled around for several seconds. Maddox managed to take the last warrior's back, wrapping an arm around his throat in a blood choke. The last Jonva went limp. The captain stood.
Told you.
Dalton gloated. He held out his hand.
Pay up.
Arlen shook his head. It's not over. Zira Ven pumped a fist in the air and gave an exultant cry.
Woohoo! Xeno Zappers!
Xeno Zappers was the name of Maddox's team. It translated as the Bringers of Thunder against enemies from afar. It was a name that filled Arlen with pride. Maddox grinned, showing bloody teeth.
Well now, looks like the back of my hand's all warmed up.
He held out his arms in a gesture of welcome.
Who's next?
The Jonva ambassador smiled. Larg was the smallest Jonva in the field, but he carried himself with the utmost confidence. His tattoos were more intricate than those of the warriors he'd brought with him. He wore a black and red uniform with a high silver collar that extended above his head. A silver cape hung down from the collar. Larg barked an order. 8 more Jonva stepped forward and removed their shirts. The captain's grin gave way to a scowl.
Ah, for the love of money.
The Junta ritual is not an exhibition of prowess,
Arlen quietly told the others.
It is a test of character. Anyone can be virtuous in victory. The Jonva believe a warrior's true measure is only found in defeat.
You mean?
Zira Ven gave him a worried frown.
He will fight until he surrenders or is defeated,
Arlen confirmed.
No matter how many it takes.
The captain fought hard. He managed to knock out 1 more Jonva before he was overwhelmed. The beating he received was vicious and thorough. The warriors ceased only when the human passed out. Arlen's heart swelled. He had not told the rest of the crew about the Junta, but he had explained to the captain in detail. Rex Maddox had known he would take a beating. The human had committed to it without hesitation or complaint. He had done that for Arlen.
Rex!
Zira Ven dashed over to the man. The woman made no attempt to hide her distress. She knelt in the dirt and pulled out her medkit. Arlen understood her reaction. Humans had a reputation for violence and chaos, but they were also known to be big-hearted fools. The captain was a prime example. Every member of his crew was an outcast in some way. He tried to show himself as callous and gruff, but he was almost aggressively caring. Arlen would never be able to express how grateful he was to call the man his friend.
He'll be all right,
Dalton remarked. The human spoke as if he was trying to reassure Arlen, but his frown gave away his worry.
The captain's as tough as they come.
Arlen did not reply. He couldn't. The Taniwa was using all of his self-control to avoid an unseemly emotional display, but he wasn't sure his voice would remain impassive. Instead, Arlen held out a hand, palm up.
You're a cold bastard, Tov,
Dalton muttered. He passed over a quid chip. Arlen pocketed it. It took a few minutes for the captain to wake up. He was a mass of blood and bruises. His ribs were cracked. He had a concussion. Zira Ven applied first aid. Ambassador Larg waited until Maddox was on his feet. Then he stepped forward.
Rex Maddox,
The Jonva intoned.
We have heard the tales of the bringers of thunder. Your deeds gave you the right to undertake the Jujonta, but it is the Jujonta that tells me if you are worthy to serve.
Yeah.
Captain Maddox nodded.
Colonel Zamarippa said you rejected the human ambassadors.
Only warriors know war.
Lark told him.
Only warriors know why peace is precious, or what it costs.
He tilted his head.
There is also the matter of pride to consider. Jonva are a proud people, too proud to accept the counsel of weaklings.
I get that.
Maddox nodded again.
So, what's the verdict?
You are strong,
said the ambassador.
Stubborn and violent and bold. You do not surrender even when you should.
Thanks.
Maddox gave the ambassador a thumbs up.
I do aim to please.
It was not a compliment.
Lark corrected.
Humans see boldness as a virtue. The rest of the galaxy does not. Boldness is an invitation to chaos. It shows a disregard for the order of things.
The ambassador frowned.
Still, your performance lines up with your reputation. I find it acceptable.
Good.
The captain leaned to the side and spit some of the blood out of his mouth.
So, what's next?
There is one more problem.
Ambassador Lark pointed at Arlen.
You are here to negotiate a peace between us and our enemies, but one of the enemy is a member of your crew. How can I trust you to be impartial?
Easy.
The captain shrugged.
You can't.
I can't?
The ambassador sounded dubious.
Nope, you can't.
The captain spat again.
Look, Ambassador, I'm gonna level with you. I ain't a diplomat. I don't know you or your people, and I didn't form the Xeno Zappers to go around spreading peace and love.
He pointed at Arlen.
The only reason we took this job is because it's important to Tov. Now, that's both good and bad for you.
Maddox continued.
On the one hand, Tov's word carries a lot of weight. I'll listen to him over anything you or those other guys.
He waved a hand at the waiting group of Taniwa.
Have to say. On the other hand, I know what Tov's people did to him, and I ain't inclined to do them any favors. I'll push for what I think is right, but I can't promise to be impartial.
The ambassador frowned at the human for a long moment. Then he chuckled.
Not a diplomat indeed, but I can see you're sincere. Very well.
He reached out and placed a hand on the captain's chest.
I, Larg Ovo Dalogod, by the powers vested in me by the Jonva supremacy, declare you, Rex Maddox, the arbiter of dispute.
Unacceptable.
The voice came from the Taniwa ambassador. Ambassador Equilor was light green, with a narrow snout and violet stripes on his skin. He was dressed in a robe of thinly woven silver. The Taniwa ambassador stalked closer. Most of his retinue followed. Arlen counted 10 warriors, 6 shadow scouts, 4 duelists, and 4 junior ambassadors. The group came within 3 meters of the Jonva, all of whom bristled at their approach.
You have some nerve, Rex Maddox.
Equilor spat. He thrust a clawed hand in Arlen's direction.
Arlen Tov was exiled in shame. Allowing him to step foot on the Taniwa Imperium is an insult and a crime.
We're not in the Imperium.
Maddox pointed out.
This is a backwater planet that ain't owned by anyone.
His presence is an affront.
The ambassador insisted.
I will not abide it.
Oh, yeah?
Maddox spat some more blood out and stepped closer.
And what exactly are you gonna do?
Nothing.
Equilor smirked.
I will do nothing, as long as that vegan is here.
Of course. Ambassador Equilor didn't have to do anything to derail the peace talks. He could simply refuse to participate. Arlen wondered if perhaps he should have stayed on the ship.
Thegon?
The captain's voice was dangerously low.
I'm gonna tell you this once, Equilor. Tov's with me. You insult him again, and I'm gonna give you your own personal Jujanta. You get me?
You wouldn't dare.
Equilor informed him.
I am of the highest caste. My word alone.
The captain's fist slammed into the side of the ambassador's snout. The blow spun the Taniwa around, dropping him in the dirt. He stared up at the human in shock. It was all Arlen could do not to laugh.
I'll have your head for that, human.
Equilor growled. He pointed at the human.
Seize him!
Stay where you are!
The captain warned them. He dug into his pants pocket. He pulled out a silver emblem. Equilor's eyes widened. Maddox pressed a button on the emblem. A hologram of the Imperial seal glowed to life.
I don't think you understand the situation you're in, Ambassador.
The Taniwa delegation dropped to their knees and bowed low at the sight of the sigil. Equilor's rage turned to horror.
His Imperial Majesty authorized me as an arbiter of dispute before we came here.
Maddox explained.
But since I know your culture, I asked for a little something extra.
He wouldn't!
Equilor protested.
His Imperial Majesty would never grant his seal to an alien!
He took some convincing.
Maddox admitted.
But the human ambassador talked him around.
He held the seal a little higher.
This seal marks me as an Imperial messenger, the voice of His Majesty himself.
Ambassador Larg burst into laughter. Everyone turned to look at him. Larg laughed harder.
Human!
He chortled.
Do you know what you've done?
Arlen was as confused as everyone else at first. Then his eyes drifted to the emblem in the human's hand.
Stars and stones,
He swore. The captain turned to him.
Tov?
you are the voice of the Emperor.
Tov could not keep the shock out of his voice.
You represent his person.
Maddox frowned.
So?
You were carrying the Emperor's seal during the Jujunta.
Larg explained. He was still trying to get his laughter under control.
Diplomatically speaking, my warriors just beat His Imperial Majesty unconscious.
The captain's eyes went wide.
Oh.
There's no need to pretend you didn't know, Arbiter.
Larg chided.
It was brilliantly done. I can see why the humans sent you.
In the eyes of the Jonva, the Emperor of the Taniwa Imperium had just taken and passed the ultimate test of worth. He had shown respect for Jonva customs, and personally taking a beating could be seen as both an act of courage and contrition. No Taniwa would ever risk sullying the Emperor's person with such an act, but a human might get away with it. It really was a brilliant maneuver. Or it would be, if Maddox had done it on purpose. Ambassador Equilor climbed back to his feet. The scent of his fear and outrage were so strong, Tov could smell it from meters away. The fear won out. Ambassador Equilor clasped both hands in front of himself and bowed low. So low, his snout touched the ground.
Forgive me, voice of His Majesty. I did not mean to cause offense.
Equilor kept his nose pressed to the dirt. Maddox regarded the Taniwa with annoyance.
Oh, stand up, Ambassador. We'll get along fine, long as you remember what I told you.
Equilor rose. He hesitated.
Forgive my impertinence, O voice.
Skip the ceremony.
Maddox waved him on.
Call me Rex or Arbiter and get to the point.
Very well.
Equilor bowed again.
Arbiter, if you carry the seal, what do you need me for? You have full authority to negotiate on behalf of the Empire.
I've got the authority, but not the qualifications.
Maddox explained.
Also, I can't be an arbiter and negotiate at the same time. Conflict of interest.
Actually, you can,
Ambassador Larg informed him.
legally speaking.
Well, I don't wanna.
Said the captain. He looked between the two ambassadors.
We good now? Ready to get started?
The ambassadors agreed. Maddox nodded.
Good.
He frowned and spat out more blood.
Table's over there.
He pointed. A table and 3 chairs had been set up deeper into the clearing. They were from the Nomad's kitchen. The Nomad was Maddox's ship. The table was a floating flat oval made of a white material that looked like metal but wasn't. The chairs were scuffed plastic, but surprisingly comfortable. The ambassador sat on opposite ends of the table. Maddox plopped down in the chair between them.
First order of business,
said the human.
Anyone object to arming up?
Both of the ambassadors looked surprised, but it was Larg who asked.
Arming up?
Weapons were not allowed at peace talks, for obvious reasons.
We're on a backwater planet in the ass end of nowhere,
Maddox reminded them.
And Terran intelligence told me someone's been stirring up trouble all over the galaxy. A bunch of wars have been started under suspicious circumstances, including yours.
There's nothing suspicious about it,
Ambassador Larg corrected. He pointed at Ambassador Equilor.
The Taniwa massacred our outpost on Yulong 4.
We did no such thing.
Equilor shot back.
It was your unprovoked attack on Luva Station that started this.
Now you're getting it.
Maddox leaned forward in his chair.
Each of you got attacked. Each of you confirmed it was the other's military. Neither of your countries ordered an attack or has any record of your own military in the area.
One of Equilor's assistants reached into his robe. The motion was so casual, Arlen almost missed it.
We've seen the same story 9 times in the last 6 years.
Maddox continued.
The Terran Republic's sure someone's behind it, but we don't know who. That's why we're here on this backwater. That's why you both brought a fleet. And that's...
The assistant pulled out a blaster pistol and aimed at Ambassador Larg.
Gun!
Arlen shouted. He drew a knife from his sleeve and launched it in a smooth, swift motion. The throw was good. The blade pierced the enemy Taniwa's hand, fouling his aim just enough that the blaster bolt sped past the ambassador's head instead of boring through it. The bolt caught one of Larg's warriors in the chest. The rest of the Taniwa delegation stared at Equilor's assistant in shock. Captain Maddox didn't hesitate. He lunged out of his chair and clamped a hand around the assistant's wrist before the traitor could reposition the gun. He jerked the gun out of the traitor's hand and clocked him in the jaw. The traitor pulled Arlen's knife out of his hand and tried to stab the human. He was quick. Maddox barely managed to get an arm in the way. The blade sank into the human's forearm instead of his neck. The traitor retracted the knife and tried again. Maddox parried the stab with his bleeding arm. Then Arlen was there. His ion blade flared to life. The ion blade was Arlen's favorite concealable weapon. It was a thin metal tube, about the size of a knife handle. When Arlen flicked a switch, a stream of ionized plasma came out. Energy fields held the plasma in place, turning it into a sword that burned hotter than most stars. Arlen's ion blade severed the traitor's arm at the elbow. He lopped off the other arm for good measure. Maddox kicked his attacker in the chest. The traitor was knocked backwards. A few of the Taniwa warriors shook themselves out of their shock and grabbed him.
Emperor forfeit.
Ambassador Equilor breathed. He was staring at the traitor in shock.
Lannis Oolong, what have you done?
Lannis gave Equilor a look of smug satisfaction. He said,
"There will be no peace."
Arlen's heart dropped. The traitor was right. A member of Equilor's delegation had just attacked the Jonva ambassador and shot one of his men. Such an attack would prompt a war of extinction. The Jonva supremacy would fight until every last Taniwa was dead. The supremacy wouldn't fight alone either. The traitor had tried to kill the captain too. Attacking an arbiter of dispute was a direct violation of the Galactic Accords. Every sapient nation would rise up against them. Arlen's entire species was going to die.
Medic!
Captain Maddox shouted. Sierra Ven was already running to the Jonva the traitor had shot. She had the medkit. Maddox turned back to the traitor. His eyes narrowed.
You're awfully calm for someone who just lost both his arms,
the human remarked.
Who are you?
You'll never know.
said Lannis. He smelled of satisfaction. He slumped. His eyes turned glassy. One of the warriors checked the traitor's pulse. It was gone. The traitor was dead. Maddox swore. Everyone was silent for several moments. Then Ambassador Larg spoke.
Ambassador of Equilor, a member of your delegation just tried to assassinate me.
Equilor was still staring down at his dead assistant.
I don't understand. I've known Lannis for years. He's never even held a blaster.
Furthermore,
Larg continued.
he attacked the Arbiter of Dispute in violation of the Galactic Accords. For these reasons, on behalf of the Jonva Supremacy, I declare a war of extinction. My people will eradicate every last Taniwa from the galaxy.
Now, wait a minute.
Captain Maddox started.
As for you,
Ambassador Larg pointed at Arlen.
carrying weapons during a peace summit is a serious violation of protocol.
He did so on my order,
Said Captain Maddox.
under my authority.
Your authority?
Larg's eyebrows rose.
You did not have authority until a minute ago.
And that authority lets me decide Tov's punishment,
The captain reminded him.
which will be a hefty fine.
A fine?
Larg was incredulous.
Life imprisonment is the minimum.
He thought for a moment.
No, I will not demand imprisonment for an act that saved my life.
He turned back to Arlen and saluted with fist to chest.
Thank you. I'm sorry I'll have to exterminate your species.
He started to walk away. Captain Maddox picked up the traitor's blaster. He fired in the air. The Donva delegation paused. Larg turned to look at the human.
Ambassador Larg, sit down.
Maddox ordered. He kept his blaster pointed at the sky.
Please.
The ambassador's eyes narrowed.
Are you threatening me, Arbiter?
Just getting your attention.
Maddox assured him.
You don't want to leave before the investigation's over, do you?
Investigation?
Larg frowned.
There is nothing to investigate. A diplomatic envoy is responsible for everything their delegation does.
Arlen spoke.
The attacker was not a member of the Taniwa delegation.
He very clearly was.
Larg disagreed.
Lannis Oolong was a member of the delegation.
Arlen clarified. He pointed at the corpse.
That was not Lannis Oolong. He was an imposter.
An imposter?
Larg raised an eyebrow again.
Do you have proof of this?
Not yet.
Tov admitted.
However, I am quite certain. I do not believe that creature is a Taniwa.
Larg tapped his chin.
I'm listening.
He attacked an Imperial messenger without hesitation,
Said Arlen.
That alone is suspicious. More suspicious were his movements. He fought like a smooth skin. He did not use his tail for balance, and he made no attempt to use either claws or teeth. He also ignored the loss of both of his arms. It smelled like he didn't even feel it.
Larg considered.
Even if that's true, responsibility for the attack still falls on the Taniwa Imperium. Protocol dictates.
Forget protocol.
Maddox cut in.
Use your head, Larg.
Forget protocol?
Ambassador Larg blinked. Maddox pointed at the corpse.
If that ain't the real Lannis, it's an enemy agent. That means a foreign power engineered this whole thing. Probably the same power that faked an attack on both you and the Tanawa. Are you really gonna let them play you like that? You're pissed, I get that.
Maddox continued.
I really do. I'm not asking you to decide right now. I'm asking you to stay long enough to get a good scan of the body. Let us find out who and what he was. After that, it's your call.
Asking me to ignore protocol is wildly inappropriate.
Larg scowled. He glared at the corpse of the traitor.
but only a fool turns down information. I will delay my departure.
I appreciate it.
Maddox gave him a nod, then called out.
Sira Ven, you got that Jonva stabilized yet?
Sira Ven looked up. She was kneeling over the warrior that had been shot. The med kit was open on the ground next to her.
He's got a sucking chest wound. I've sealed it with med gel. It's a temporary fix, but he's stable for now.
Good.
Maddox gestured at the corpse of the traitor.
I need you to bust out the omnicorder. Tov thinks this guy was a fake.
Sira Ven walked over, pulling a boxy device off of her belt. The omnicorder was the most sophisticated handheld scanning device known to sapiens. It was not user-friendly. Lieutenant Sira Ven was the only one of them with the expertise to use it. Sira Ven stopped 5 meters from the dead man. She consulted her scanner.
I'm picking up a power source.
She reported.
There's something inside him.
Explosive?
Asked the captain.
No,
Said Sira Ven.
I don't recognize that design, but I think it's some kind of communicator, or maybe a jamming device.
What of the body?
Asked Ambassador Equilor.
Was it Lannis?
Sira Ven fiddled with the scanner. She frowned.
He had a Tanawa DNA. I don't know if... Wait.
Sira Ven started backing away.
What is it?
Asked the captain.
Cellular activity.
Sira Ven made a slashing motion with one hand, like she was cutting her own throat at a 45-degree angle. It was a human military hand sign. It meant danger close. Maddox pointed at Max Dalton and made the hand sign for gun. Dalton turned and made a run for the Nomad. Maddox stepped to the side, putting himself between the corpse and Ambassador Larg. Arlen put himself between the corpse and Equilor.
The traitor is alive?
Ambassador Equilor asked quietly. He'd started backing away as well, and waved at his warriors to do the same.
It's so faint, a normal scanner wouldn't pick it up.
Said Sira Ven.
But it's there.
Arlen pulled a small blaster from his boot and tossed it to Sira Ven. She caught it without looking, staring into the omnicorder.
Rex,
Her voice was quiet.
remember our first mission with Dalton? The science ship?
A chill swept down Arlen's spine, all the way to his tail. The science ship had been full of monsters, shapeshifters. He ignited his ion blade. The captain's eyes widened. He pulled out a communicator.
Grit, I'm gonna need... Shit!
Tentacles exploded out of the corpse of Lannis. The ends of them lengthened into stingers. They were fast. Arlen barely managed to sever the two coming for him and the Taniwa ambassador. He heard blaster fire.
Grit!
Maddox shouted.
I need fire support!
Grit was the AI in control of the Nomad. The ship's weapons would make short work of the monster. At least, Arlen hoped they would. 6 tentacles pierced the closest Taniwa warriors. The warriors fell.
Grit can't hear you!
Sira Ven shouted. She let the omnicorder dangle from its strap as she fired her blaster.
We're being jammed!
More tentacles snaked out. They grabbed the corpse's severed arms and reattached them. The thing pretending to be Lannis stood. Its scent had changed. It was cloying, sickly sweet, alien. The smell of it set Arlen's instincts on fire. Maddox shot it in the head.
You are much more trouble than I expected.
The fake Lannis remarked. The hole in its head closed.
Who are you?
Captain Maddox demanded. The creature ignored the question.
First, you foiled my assassination. Then you convinced Larg to delay declaring war. And now you've found a way to detect me.
The shapeshifter tisked.
It's quite frustrating.
He peered at Sira Ven's scanner.
What did you call that device? An omnicorder?
What are you?
Asked Sira Ven.
There is no point in telling you.
The creature replied.
You'll all be dead in a minute.
If you're gonna kill us anyway,
Maddox drawled.
it wouldn't hurt to tell us, right?
The monster gave the human a look of extreme annoyance. The 6 Taniwa who had been stung were still writhing on the ground. Arlen took in a breath through his nostrils. They smelled... oh no. They smelled like the tentacles.
It's infectious!
Arlen shouted. He swept his ion blade across the closest fallen warrior. With his other hand, he pushed Ambassador Equilor away.
Run!
Get to the Nomad!
The captain seconded the order.
The Xeno Zappers will hold it off!
To their credit, both delegations reacted quickly. Jonva warriors closed ranks around Ambassador Larg. 3 of them picked up their fallen comrade. Taniwa warriors surrounded Ambassador Equilor. The 2 ambassadors ran for the ship.
I don't think you will,
said the creature. It darted forward, but quickly found itself face down in the dirt. Zira Ven had shot out its knees.
Keep hitting the limbs!
Maddox plied his own blaster.
Slow him down!
The Xeno Zappers poured blaster fire into the creature's arms and legs. It lifted itself up on its tentacles. Arlen darted in, slicing through half of them with his ion blade. The monster fell again, but Arlen barely avoided its counterattack.
Cut the others!
Maddox bellowed.
We've got this one!
He and Seraven switched targets, alternating between blasting limbs and shooting off tentacles. Arlen dashed back to the infected Taniwa. The one he'd sliced in half had mostly fused back together. Arlen sliced him up again, then moved to the next. He turned 2 more infected into wriggling chunks. He was too slow. The remaining 3 Taniwa stood. They shed their reptilian forms, becoming nightmare creatures of tentacles and teeth. One of them rushed Arlen. The other 2 leapt. They would land on the diplomats and their warrior escort. Arlen could do nothing to stop them. Arlen backpedaled, slicing tentacles as fast as he could. He cursed his failure. Then, 2 bursts of green light swatted the leaping monsters out of the sky.
Death from above.
A soothing monotone boomed across the field. It was Grit. The Nomad's AI was housed in a floating spherical head. The head was white with a black faceplate. A series of lights on the faceplate formed eyes and mouth. The bottom of the head had opened. A thin metal arm was sticking out. Attached to the arm was a plasma cannon. The cannon was much bigger than the head itself. Grit flew high. Its cannon rained death on the monsters. Arlen's opponent was blasted into pieces. He debated hacking at the creature some more, but decided it would be foolish to risk close-quarters combat when he didn't need to. He backed off and let the floating head do its work. Arlen heard the familiar whir of Max Dalton's minigun. Minigun was an odd name for such a large, rapid-fire weapon, but humans were like that. Arlen watched the human turn his large, rotating barrels on the 2 monsters that had tried to jump on the diplomats. He boomed.
Bring the thunder!
The minigun spat a torrent of yellow light. Phaser fire. The human's gun fired 100 blasts per second. It didn't take him long to reduce the creatures to ash and vapor. Grit's cannon kept the remaining monsters down until Dalton could get there. The human vaporized the things one after another, until the thing impersonating Lannis was all that was left. The creature was in pieces. The thing that wasn't Lannis reattached its head to its chest. It spoke.
You really are a lot of trouble.
Max Dalton leveled his minigun. Captain Maddox held up a hand. Dalton held his fire.
Who are you?
Asked the captain.
I am the future,
said the monster.
I am what you will be.
An arm tried to reattach itself to the creature. Grit shot it off.
Why are you trying to sabotage the peace talks?
Asked Maddox.
There is no advantage in telling you,
said the creature. Its eyes narrowed.
We have heard of you, Rex Maddox. We were warned the humans would be a threat. I see now that you are even more dangerous than we believed. Your death is now a priority.
That's big talk for a man who's about to be a head in a jar.
Maddox told it,
My fate is irrelevant.
said the shapeshifter.
I am one of many. I have warned the others. You have our full attention, Rex Maddox of the Xeno Zappers. You will wish you did not.
The shapeshifter's eyes glazed over. It slumped. Its parts stopped wriggling.
Do you think it's faking again?
Asked Dalton.
Let's not find out.
Maddox decided.
Vaporize everything but the head. Grit, get a jar.
Get a jar.
The floating head objected.
I'm a hyper-advanced AI, not your butler, and I just saved all your lives. Again.
That's true.
Maddox admitted.
You did good, Grit.
You're welcome.
Grit was smug.
I don't know what you'd do without me.
Keep sassing me and we'll find out.
Maddox told it.
Go get a jar.
An hour later saw the Xeno Zappers on the Nomad's bridge, along with the two ambassadors. The shapeshifter's head was in a metal container on a counter next to a control console. The bridge was spacious but cluttered. Weapons and bits of tech lined the walls. They watched through the viewports as the Nomad blasted the surface of the planet with fusion cannons. Ambassador Larg spoke.
You know this changes nothing. The Taniwa Imperium is still responsible. This was an act of war.
You're damn right it was,
said the captain.
A foreign agent infiltrated our peace summit and tried to kill every one of us, including the Taniwa delegation.
He pointed at Equilor.
You saw that thing, Larg. It could just as easily have been one of your people that took over.
It wasn't.
Larg said firmly.
The protocol.
Protocol is for known situations.
Maddox interrupted.
It doesn't cover shape-shifting body snatchers. You're smart enough to know what this means.
Larg grimaced.
Come on, Ambassador.
Maddox pressed.
This war was engineered. We've all been set up.
The Taniwa delegation still shares responsibility.
Larg insisted.
Perhaps,
said Arlen.
just as your delegation is responsible for assaulting the Emperor.
Larg blinked.
What?
Did you not have 12 of your warriors beat His Imperial Majesty unconscious?
Tov asked mildly.
Diplomatically speaking.
That's not...
Ambassador Larg started. He grimaced harder.
The Junjanta ritual is not an assault. It's voluntary.
Voluntary at your insistence,
Arlen pointed out.
It was a serious breach of protocol.
How was I to know the Arbiter had the Emperor's seal?
Larg demanded.
Doesn't matter.
Maddox smiled. His teeth were still a little bloody.
You're still responsible, right?
You are infuriating.
Larg scowled.
But I do see your point. Very well. We will not declare war on the Taniwa. Peace negotiations will continue.
Good man.
Maddox clapped Larg on the shoulder.
Let's continue them in the kitchen. I need a beer.
The two of them walked off the bridge. Equilor started to follow, then stopped. He turned to Arlen.
Arlen Tov, you have saved my life. You have saved the Empire. You have saved our species.
He bowed low, so low his snout touched the deck.
Do not bow to me, Ambassador,
Arlen chided.
I am an outcast.
You are?
Equilor acknowledged. He rose. He smelled of regret.
This changes nothing, Arlen Tov. No matter what you accomplish, the Emperor will not forgive. You can never come home. I am sorry.
I am not,
Arlen told him.
I knew the price when I made my choice.
He gestured around himself.
It is true I cannot return to the Empire. That does not mean I do not have a home.
Hi, friends. I hope you enjoyed that episode of Xeno Zappers.
Click right here for another episode with the same character.